Hi, this is a review of Ecowitt HP3501 Wi-Fi weather station. I will present to you a brand new Ecowitt weather station. For some time I was looking for a station with separate sensors to measure individual weather parameters. Eventually, this station, the HP3501 station, got my attention. Despite the popularity of all-in-one units, they have one major disadvantage: measurements are made only in one location. By buying this station you have the opportunity to place each wireless sensor in the right place and make your measurements even more reliable. So you can make decent measurements from particular sensors located as close to recommended heights as possible in the home setting. Let's look at the contents of the package. Here you can see the items just as I opened the box. From the date of this batch, I was waiting roughly 2 weeks for the delivery. The station arrived well packaged, and in my case it was shipped by DHL fairly swiftly to Leipzig within 2 days. But the delivery was delayed for several days by the customs procedure. All elements were firmly wrapped in foil. You can see what you get with the weather station. At first glance, the display console seems a bit small. It is smaller than smartphones. And next, solidly built rain gauge unit with stainless steel tube. Indoor and outdoor temperature and humidity sensor unit. Wireless anemometer with wind speed caps and vane that must be attached. Bear in mind that there are two more missing elements that are not included in the package, namely AA batteries and micro SD cards, which is necessary for saving historical data or updating new firmware. The rain gauge is built of self-emptying rain collector with a tipping mechanism. There's also a quite big funnel with a flange and small hole inside. On the side there is the water central bubble to make sure everything is centered and aligned during the installation. Placing the rain collector top in the rain bucket is very easy. Batteries for the wireless rain gauge sensor are not included. You need one AA size battery. After placing the battery, the unit connects to the console. The LED indicator turns on for 4 seconds, and next every 49 seconds transmits data. It's important to first run all sensors and finally the console. Remember that any movements during or after assembly can cause the rain sensor to falsely register rain. The unit can be attached to a metal pole. You could see one small included via provided U-bolts. U-bolts will accommodate a pole diameter of 1 to 2 inches or can be screwed directly to a suitable surface. Of course, the supplied pole in the set is not enough to correctly place the sensor in the field. It is best to attach the sensor about a meter above ground level, as you can see it in my garden. The device looks solid and I had no problems receiving the signal by the console. There are two temperature humidity sensors, WH32, that come with the kit, and they are powered by two AA batteries. If in your climate outdoor temperature may go below 0 degrees, freezing point, so 32 degrees Fahrenheit, for longer time, it is recommended to put lithium batteries because they are more durable. The indoor sensor displays indoor temperature, humidity, and barometric pressure, alternatively. In turn, the outdoor sensor shows outdoor temperature and humidity. Here the sensors use metric units, as I am in Central Europe. The great thing is that you can expand the capabilities of your measurement network with additional sensors. The workstation supports up to 8 additional WH31 multi-channel temperature and humidity sensors that are sold separately. You can then monitor the temperature in many places, e.g. in the garden, garage or attic. The differences in the temperature readings of both sensors, which are visible here, are due to the fact that previously one of them was for a while in the sun. To check the accuracy of temperature measurements, I compared the readings with a calibrated Thermio31 temperature data logger. The result is very convincing. The sensors showed similar values, so the device is impeccable in this respect. As I mentioned earlier, the weather station does not contain radiation shield. In my view, this is one of its major disadvantages because you have to try to cover it in some way, although the temperature sensor is waterproof. It is important that the sensor is not exposed to direct sunlight because then our results will be falsified. Here you can see the shield from my previous weather station. I attached the sensor to it with a velcro tape. Make sure the sensor is mounted vertically and not lying down on a flat surface. This will ensure optimum reception. In my home conditions, I decided to put the sensor on the trunk of the spruce because it is always a shaded and ventilated place. The location by the north wall of the building's facade, in my opinion, distorts the temperature indications too much, especially since it is not blowing enough there. The sensor sends data on to the console every 64 seconds. That would be enough, but I expected a shorter interval. I checked how far I could place the sensor so that the console could receive the signal, and I was impressed. Even at the distance of 100 meters, despite the walls and building on the way to the console, the signal was still readable and the data sent to Ecowitt.net. As for wireless anemometer, it has built-in wind speed sensor, wind direction sensor, light and UV sensor, as well as solar panel. Wind speed caps and wind vane must be attached to sensor body with screws. A wrench is included in package. A manual explains clearly how to do it. I noticed that the wind vanes movement has a small amount of friction, which is helpful in providing steady wind direction measurements. The arm is made from metal, and the direction and the wind caps are made from plastics. On the top north pointing arrow in order to assist you when you install the station. Everything looks tough, is nicely designed and should withstand strong winds. As you can tell, the primary power source for the wind gauge is the solar panel. When available solar power is insufficient, the battery will be used. As I mentioned before, lithium batteries are strongly suggested as these are performing better than alkaline batteries under cold circumstances. One AA battery is a backup for nighttime dark winter months. The signal from the gauge is sent to the console every 16 seconds. The anemometer is bundled with hardware to attach it to posts or poles. There are two sets of U-bolts in the box. One is for the wireless anemometer sensor, but there's no mounting pole in the package. As you can see, the wind gauge is attached to a rooftop via a metal plate at the bottom of the U-bolts used for a secure connection to a metal pole, 1 inch in diameter. Location of the wind gauge can be challenging because we normally don't have room for a 10-meter mast. Most often the highest point is our rooftop. Integrating the anemometer with a solar panel here has its faults. The higher, the better, but the device must be easily accessible so that it can be cleaned regularly. The TFT display unit is compact, measuring 4.5 by 3.5 inches, with a white plastic body and a black background screen. It is way better than a regular LCD screen. It is matte and does not reflect light. The screen is smaller than I expected. The small screen size is considered by some people to be the biggest disadvantage of this set. Indeed, the fonts of the data are too small and graphs of weather parameters poorly visible from a greater distance. On the side, there is a microSD card slot to make backup historical data. MicroSD card is not included, but I think it is worth buying it and placing in the console. There is no need to have sizable memory card. A 1 GB card will store more than 10 years worth of data, so you don't need a very large capacity card. The speed class of card does not matter either. MicroSD card is a must-have also for another reason. Thanks to it, you can update the firmware. The station gains a lot on the possibility of updating this firmware. In my opinion, it is a very useful feature. Ecowitt can therefore still improve the layout, icons, and add new elements on the console. That's why it is worth contacting them and sending your suggestions. During installation of the set, the important thing is the order of inserting the batteries. The display console should be turned on the end. The console operates using an AC adapter, however there is no possibility of battery operation. In my opinion, this is a disadvantage because if during extreme weather the power goes out, the station will stop collecting and sending data. My station, as for every European customer, has been adapted by the manufacturer to the European radio frequency, i.e. 868 MHz. So if you come from Central Europe, Poland or Germany, for example, the Ecowitt crew will prepare the equipment for the right job at your location before the shipping. By default, the station operates in the USA at 915 MHz. Whereas the console itself supports Wi-Fi that uses the 2.4 GHz signal spectrum. Actually, it is now the standard among weather stations available on the market. Weather readings are uploaded by Wi-Fi and data are streamed from the weather station to internet-based weather services, Weather Underground, Weather Cloud and Weather Observations website by Met Office. First, however, you need to configure settings and enter data related to your Wi-Fi network and user accounts. To do this, you need to install the WS View application on your mobile phone and follow the instructions in the next steps. The program is intuitive and easy to use. On the screen there are two icon indicators. On the top first one on the left is the weather underground symbol once your system is actually online and communicating to WU. Given the credentials you have input during setup, this icon will light up. The next one icon it is Wi-Fi signal indicator icon. Now you can see what data presentation settings and options are available when using the console. The outdoor section has room for potential data from subsequent temperature sensors. A useful option is to set the backlight screen at night hours so that the console does not show data then and saves energy. Here it is possible to correct measurements by a given value. In the calibration section, if necessary, you can modify a given measurement if it was incorrect, e.g. false calculated rain. It is also possible to set an alarm for a specific parameter, for example for impending frost or strong wind gusts. However, the weather station can be connected to a computer via USB and any settings can be made or data can be downloaded by EasyWeather 2. It is more convenient here. Unfortunately, Cumulus does not recognize this software version. And here for comparison I showed you the console from a previous WH2080 station from 2012. As you can see, the console of the newer Ecowitt station has been miniaturized, is colorful, and has the ability to update the firmware. And most importantly, it sends readings wirelessly to weather services. Finally, a few print screens from the mobile version of Ecowitt.net. I really like the lucid way of presenting data on their website. In conclusion, I am very pleased with the Ecowitt weather station and its possibilities of continuous improvement. Separate sensors allow their proper location, and in my case, their communication with the console, despite the walls and trees, is undisturbed. In addition, you can add up to 8 additional temperature sensors, as well as air quality sensor and soil moisture sensor. The weather station has been working for me for a month, and truth be told, up to now is performing great. I hope it will become more popular. I can highly recommend it to anyone who has a little more space around the house. It is a pity that they send the station from outside Europe, so in addition to the basic price, you have to take into account customs duties. It is a real alternative to similar weather station on the market, and the readings are really accurate. My only complaint is the lack of radiation shield and console, which could be larger and have additional battery power. Personally, I have to also mention that I am very pleased with the service and any support from Ecowitt. I hope this video has been of use to everyone who might be looking for a new weather station with separate and wireless sensors. Thanks for watching.